Hey, this is Brian O'Halloran. You might know me from such films as Clerks, Vulgar, Brutal Master. You're listening to the Timo and Harley Show.
Welcome to the Timo and Harley Show.
Thank you for listening to the Timo and Harley Show. I am Timo. Over there is my partner in mind crime, Mr. Ben Harley. Say hello, Harley.
What is happening, people?
Ben Biohazard Harley.
Yes, me. Like the band Biohazard?
No, actually, I watched a movie called Biohazard this week, so I just thought I would throw it in because it was the first thing that had an H in it that made it sound like it worked. So there's your your opening. There you go. So
thank you.
Woo, so, Mr. Ben Harley, a couple things
sir.
here. Hello, Deep Thinkers. Hello, Deep Thinkers.
Deep Thinkers.
I got a little message to Deep Thinkers. I told you all that I want 2021 to be boring.
That's
all
right.
I'm gonna say. Let's get back to work on that. We need more boring, boring 2021 here. So not a good start. Let's get boring, folks. Relax. Let's get boring. Yes.
Pump the brakes.
Right. Something real quick, Mr. Ben Harley. So apparently, Mark Diamond from the Dwarves, we had him on last week talking about some sharksploitation movies. Well, he kind of had some remorse after we're done. He's like, I ain't done. I got more to talk about. So I said, all right. I said, so we are probably going to have Mr. Mark Diamond on here shortly again to speak a little further about sharksploitation movies. Mr. Ben Harley, I think we struck a chord, no pun intended, with the guitar player from the Dwarves.
That's right, yeah.
I think we struck.
He actually sent me a good chord, a power chord.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, no, he sent me a message that you, I think, sent to both of us about the book on Amazon. Yeah, he sent me a message that he got his book.
Right, and it jogged his memory bank, and now he's like, I got more movies to talk about. So, okay, we will have you back on the show here soon. I think it ain't gonna be a problem. I'm sure that the deep thinker's like, no, we just need to be inundated with Timo and Harley's genius and their brilliance and telling us to be boring and blah blah blah. Yeah. So
brilliant.
Much to the excitement of the audience right now. Yes, we will have Mr. Mark Diamond back on shortly. Next few weeks. Might even have another old pal on for a minute or two. A little surprise that might pop up here or there. So
nice.
Yeah. Mr. Ben Harley, you have been working on keeping 2021 trying. You're working hard. It ain't there for you yet, but you're trying to get 2021 boring. And one of them is you said you've got a virtual reality Exorcist game.
Yes.
Now, that can't be settling, Mr. Ben Harley.
No, Tim, I'm going to have to tell you that I've been a kind of a Betsy Wetsy schoolgirl a little bit about this.
Does the virtual reality make your head spit around?
Yeah, I tell you, it's so I got one of those Oculus games, whatever, too, and I've been digging the Star Wars game, but then I also picked up the Exorcist game, which was the one thing that really got me like, I want this because it's called Exorcist Legion VR, which is virtual reality, too.
Let me write that down. Hold on a second.
Virtual not Vroom.
Okay. Right underneath digital video disc. All right, there we go. Got it.
EPI. So, okay.
Okay.
Now, it's what's cool about this, Tim, is it's loosely based on one of our favorite horror movies, which is The Exorcist 3, which I know we both like a lot, and which is also was called Legion, was supposed to be, right? So,
I think it was based off of the book Legion, correct? William Peter Blatty's book,
Yeah. And, Tim, it's immersive enough to where, like, you can hear whispers in your ear, and you can, like, it's a little creepy, especially, the creepy
like in surround sound and shit.
Yes, yeah. Oh God, and you know how that there's the one in The Exorcist. It's like kind of like a woman, but then it sounds like a man too. Voice. I'm talking about that real when the devil's talking.
Sure, right. It kind of sounds like Mrs. Bates a little bit.
Yes. Oh my God, when there's parts when you hear that, you're like, oh God, and it's really like being in the movie. It's
right.
really intense. But yeah, Tim, I will say I performed my first exorcism.
Oh, well, congratulations.
Yes, thank you. So that was
anybody I know.
No,
okay.
no, yeah. I hope. I think it was successful, Tim.
Okay. At least a practice run for you.
Oh God, man! And there's, it's funny because they had some jump scares, some pretty good ones too, that got me really good. And yeah, Tim, when you're in a padded room with a person and chained up and stuff, yeah, you tend and you hear the weird voices, and then things start to disappear, and then it goes black, and then next thing you know, you're somewhere else in a different It's pretty. I want to say overwhelming.
a little disconcerting. Are you a little off balance?
Yes.
I got you. Okay.
And wow. Yeah, I will say, I'd say wow. It's pretty
so
intense.
Is it better than the Alien game? Because I know that I know it wasn't the same thing. I don't think that was virtual reality. That was just a scary game or whatever. But are you feeling it more than the Alien game? Because the Alien game really got under your skin.
Bit.
Yeah.
Oh my God, it did. And I mean, I'm sure they actually have like a Jurassic Park. There's a couple like Walking Dead ones and other things that are pretty similar to this. But yeah, it's man, it's just when the lights go out or things start to happen or you get to hear that voice and stuff, you're like, oh my God. It's just it brings back all the scary things that are the stuff that's most scary about The Exorcist or Exorcist 3, And a lot of that stuff is just noises. It's noises and things and voices that you're just like, oh my God, Right. And all I kept thinking is when he says, this time you're going to lose, is that keeps going through my mind from Exorcist 3,
Right. We actually just watched The Exorcist this past week. I don't think I even wrote it down because it was just one of those things where we just threw it in and watched it. So that's really interesting that you got that game. And we just happened to throw that movie in too. So
I've been a little scared. I will say, being upstairs at night by myself, and I'm like, God, I sure hope whatever just whispered in my ear that was in the video game. And he's standing right next to me, or I'm unleashing some kind of a demon in my car, in my apartment or whatever. But
you having fun with it though.
It's fun. Tim, I think my next game they have one called Drunken Bar Fight, and I think I'm just going to get that. Just to release some tension.
You don't even need a helmet for that one.
No.
Just go with the legend and go watch Billy play darts. You'll get in a fight. One will just appear out of nowhere. That's like a recipe for disaster right away. So well, nice.
But, lots of fun, Tim. Good. Scary. Very scary. And as soon as it says Legion in my ears, I'm really, at the time I might bow
Legion.
out.
Yeah. All right. Well, well, glad you got that going, Mr. Benny. Good. Glad you got that going.
It's been a lot of fun. It really has. So.
Good. Well, I got a few movies here to go through with you here.
Yeah, lay a moment, Tim.
Some of those are kind of fun. These aren't too bad. These will be interesting. So, let's just start off from 1985, Mr. Ben Harley. 1985. Okay. The whole reason for the Ben Biohazard Harley, I watched the movie Biohazard. Directed by Fred Olin Ray. And here we go, starring from the Mad Doctor of Blood Island, Angelique Pettyjohn.
Ooh.
Now, we're talking, let's see, the Mad Doctor of Blood Island, let's say 67 or so or whatever. This is 1985. Yeah.
Ooh. Yeah,
and they still got her popping her shirt out and stuff. And Fred Olin Ray liked to take a lady who's been on the earth for a couple more days, and you'd hope to, and get them naked. So he liked to do. He liked to. Well, I don't know if she got totally naked. So not only did he get Angelique Pettyjohn to be in this movie, but he also got the one, the only Aldo Ray.
Oh, really?
To be in the movie, too. Yes, who feverishly is searching for lines written on the walls around him. You can see as he's doing. Yeah. They even have a fun little outtake thing at the end with Aldo Ray, who's basically says, "What do you mean? Line? What do you... line?" He can't remember. Yeah. Apparently, he had fallen on and off the wagon like basically almost 3 times while he was doing.
Really?
Yes. And he was only there for a couple days. Shoot. So it was quite a trick, quite a circus act he did there. Fred Olin Ray also had his son be the monster, which is really cool. Till you realize his son was 8 years old, and it looks like an 8-year-old in a rubber suit. And you're supposed to be terrified of this. If I was an 8-year-old in a rubber monster suit, Mr. Ben Harley, I would be going for the Angelique Pettyjohn chest area. And I would be finding some way to accidentally bump into it constantly. Basically by being in the same room with her and turning around. That'll probably do it. Probably do the trick. Mr. Ben Harley, this is a silly Fred Olin Ray movie, but we did have a good time watching. It was fun. It was kind of fun watching. Bad movie.
Sounds fun.
Oh, it was fun. Yeah. Let's see here. Here we go. From 1989. This is going to blow you away. You know,
lay it on me.
We watched Harlem Nights.
Oh, yeah.
With Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, Red Fox.
Red Fox.
Yes. Danny Aiello, Mike Lerner, Della Reese. And Della Reese. Yes. So I have not seen that movie probably since 1989. It was fun to go back and watch, though.
Yeah.
I mean, it really was. I never really had a good hold on whether or not I actually enjoyed this a whole lot or not. I know the movie had a little bit mixed results and mixed reviews, but going back and looking at this, realizing this was kind of Eddie Murphy's project and all the talent he got together and what he pulled off, I thought it held up pretty well. I mean, in the end, kind of fizzles a little bit, but it's still clever
There's
enough.
Some funny stuff in there.
There is. Red Fox being old Snake Eyes in the movie, wearing them glasses.
Oh my God. Being the dealer, a card dealer.
That's great. Yeah. So, good time watching Harlem Nights. Just want to report. I know it isn't a horror movie, but
no, that's all right. Speaking of that, I actually started it yesterday and decided to record it. But Stir Crazy was on.
I have that movie as well. So, we just watched that not so long ago. That's a fun movie.
You just got Bustin' Loose too, didn't you, Tim?
I got. I did get. I got Bustin' Loose, and I also got Silver Streak.
Yeah.
So I'm set.
There.
I'm set. Yeah. I got my Richard Pryor on. I'm ready to go.
Freak out. Yeah.
I'm ready to go. What a freak out to be on, too. So.
Oh, my goodness. Those are all good movies.
Let's see here. From 1945. You knew I wasn't going to stay out of the 40s long.
No, yes.
Right. We watched The Vampire's Ghost.
Ooh.
Yeah. So this, we might have talked about this before. This is an African port. All right, and there's a bar in an African port. So it's kind of a jungle vampire type movie, okay? And there's like a bar, like a seedy bar in this African port. Now remember, this was, I guess you could say, when Africa had like British rule and everything. So it was a different Africa than we know today, of course. But the bar was run by a smarmy guy who just happens to be a vampire who gives a lot of googly eyes.
The googly eyes.
There's a lot of them, yes. And he has a lot of vampire melancholy
going
on, yeah. So basically, it's like a vampire soap opera in the jungle or in Africa or something.
So is it a ghost just fangs floating around?
That's kind of the thing. I think that was just a convenient title.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't really see a lot of vampires ghost running around. I couldn't really figure out how a vampire could have a ghost. So it took it a little bit. But the movie, it's a decent jungle vampire soap opera, and it's only an hour long. Matter of fact, I think it clocks in at 59 minutes.
Really?
So,
okay.
Yeah, clearly was made to be a double feature, a double bill or something. But, it's okay. It suffers from, there's really nobody in it. So you're looking at these actors who look like they could be familiar faces if you ever saw them in anything before.
Right.
They're memorable, but it's the first time you've seen them. Now you're going to remember them forever. You might not ever see them again, so it's kind of wasted on you. But anyway,
sure.
Not too bad. Not too many.
Funny.
Couple more. I got a couple new ones here. Now this is gonna. Now I want you to hang on to your heads here, so because you've been playing the Exorcist game, and I don't want this to spin your head around. All right?
No.
So from 2020.
From
2020.
Wait. That is a feature for
Yes. I watched a movie that was referred to me by our friend Mark Diamond from the Dwarves.
Ah, okay.
I watched Wolf of Snow Hollow.
Oh, Wolf of Snow Hollow. Okay.
If I'm not mistaken, I didn't really look into this much, but if I'm not mistaken, I believe this is the last movie starring Robert Forster.
Okay.
Robert Forster is in it playing a sheriff. This is a werewolf detective mystery type of movie. But it's zany. It has a lot of energy. Jim Cummins is the star of the film. I think he wrote, produced, and directed it and everything, which, can be the kiss of death. Big time.
Yeah.
And he is, to say he's over the top is an insult to tops.
Okay.
He's all over the place. It feels Canadian.
Okay.
So you're kind of trying to figure out, why is this guy so over the top? Why is he screaming at people? And he does throughout the entire movie. Like he's not. There's really not too many likable people in this movie. I'll put it to you that way. He's like yelling and everything. He's a jerk. He's a dick, and you're supposed to be following this guy. So it's like one of those movies that actually makes you want to go back and watch it again to see if you can catch things and do stuff. So
Right.
Now, Mark Diamond, he had an issue with the end.
Okay.
This is a new movie. You have not had much time to see this. It is on Amazon Prime. So it's free. So you can watch this.
Okay.
Little bit of a cheat ending. I'll put it to you that way.
Okay.
So I can see where somebody could get a little taken back. But as Mark said, and I do agree with this, it's a fun ride there. So, and I told Mark, I was like, I would rather have a fun ride to kind of a crap ending than having a crap movie with a great ending. I'm looking in your direction, Sleepaway Camp. So I would rather sit through something really enjoyable and than the end being, I don't know. I kind of saw the end coming a little bit, but it's still, I could see the disappointment, or I could see the cheater kind of getting kind of upset with people upset a little bit. But I do agree it is a fun ride there. And I don't like new movies. Now, maybe part of this, I don't understand why he's screaming at everyone is because I don't understand people today. So maybe he has every right to be screaming at everyone in the movie. I don't know what he's screaming about in the movie. So he's mad. He's yelling at everybody. And I'm like, dude, chill out.
He's just mad.
I don't get it. I thought there was like, man, are you a werewolf or something? You know, like you're just like, what is going on? You know, so anyway, but
just yelling at everybody.
Right. But it is an interesting movie. And I don't talk a lot about newer films. And it's interesting. It's on Amazon Prime. Again, The Wolf of Snow Hollow. Now, another movie, Mr. Ben Harley, I think you would enjoy this. And not only that, I think you, and I think some of the other deep thinkers in the audience just might need this. It's been a rough year. We haven't gotten boring enough yet. We're trying. But we haven't gotten boring yet. So it's still a little rough. But here's something I think that might make everybody get a little bit more boring. So this movie on Amazon Prime from 2019, is called Halloween in a Box.
Halloween in a Box, huh?
This movie is about the companies who made the costumes we all bought as kids in the boxes.
Really?
With the plastic rubber banded masks that would gouge out your eyes with the little sharp pieces around the eye molds and everything, and the plastic body covering. So because if you remember when we were kids, I'd say 80% of kids at least were wearing those box costumes.
Yeah, actually, just found one. Billy Shea here found an old Batman one I just bought. Actually, in the box.
You might want to watch this movie and try to get a hold of somebody to see what that's worth.
Okay, yeah.
I got to tell you something, and they're right. People bought those to throw them away. If you're correct, if you remember, they fell apart and everything. You could imagine what those are going for now, especially the Batman. And if you watch the documentary, there is a whole lot of history about Batman. There's a whole lot of history about all the comic book characters, including there is a rumor that, was it Steve Ditko, I think, designed a Spider-Man costume for one of these companies before the character was ever a comic. And there's a little bit of discrepancy about some of this stuff. I think you would really enjoy this movie, Halloween in a Box.
Nice, yeah. So that's on Prime?
It's on Prime. Mm-hmm.
I'm going to put that up for sure. Because, that I've been looking for another good documentary. And that's the stuff that intrigued me so much. And I remember where I used to get mine, a place called Lane Drugs. And that was actually right by where my one shop was at Parkway Plaza, where I grew up, across from. And I remember going in there and the smell of those things. And I swear, Tim, I was Superman one year, and I can remember running and jumping from like one step into our back room where the couch was, and that suit made me fly further than if I didn't have it on. Right. I swore to myself, you know what I mean?
Right.
But, I loved those things, and I was actually Billy found one, and so I got the Batman.
So it's still in the box and everything?
Yeah, but no, it had been used.
It'd been used,
but still has the box. Yeah,
but you still have the box, and everything's in there. Is everything in there?
Yep. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, that's what I'm talking about. It's worth something. Yeah. It is worth something. Yeah. You really should look into selling that because keeping it for yourself. But I'm saying it is a collector's item. It is worth it because people threw them away. And even the guys in this documentary who are the sons and grandsons who have been handed the companies. Yeah. Now all the companies basically eventually are bought up by one company. But this documentary goes through the history of all the companies who were put out these costumes and the evolution of them and stuff like that. And even the guys who used to run the companies are like, I wish I could tell you that I have all these costumes. But I mean, even they were like, I mean, people bought them to throw them away. They were kind of disposable costumes. I mean, I didn't keep that I can remember. I didn't keep any money. You threw them away because the rubber bands broke. They all broke. The eye holes did get sharp little, because sometimes you had to cut more around to get them to fit right, and then they got sharp and around your nose, and they're kind of pains in the butt. But hey, I remember my Hulk one. I remember my Darth Vader one that I had. I was one of those kids who wore those box costumes for years and years and years until I was older. Yeah,
my mom had bought a Tusken Raider or the Sand People one, and my mom basically just put around the mask, and then she kind of wrapped me up in ace bandages and stuff like that. And it was actually one of the coolest costumes I ever had, but it all revolved around just the mask, really, And then I looked more like the Mummy by the time I got home because I was dragging bandages. But I mean, I remember going in there, Tim, at the time during Halloween time, and the way it smelled and the way those costumes smelled, just, it was one of the best memories of my life is going there for to get those things.
Right. Well, there you go. So that's why I'm saying I think it's something that people could use to watch this and kind of hit that old reset button and go, hey, you know what? I mean, so I again, because we all wore them. I mean, we all wore them. At least one, because I remember it being odd if somebody came dressed up in their own costume, almost to the point where. And I don't mean this in a bad way, but as a joke, almost like you're like, who's a poor kid without the $2 costume?
Yeah,
that's kind of. I'm just saying that's kind of how it was. If you came in your own costume, it was like, what dummy over here made their own. It's like coming in your own shoes that you made at home,
right?
So, but so many people wore them, and you look back like, they all kind of. They all kind of sucked a little bit, But what's cool about there was some artistry to this too, and I think that's what you would enjoy about not only the history of these costumes, but the artistry of them and stuff like that too. That when you would lose, and it's a big licensing rights movement with these costumes too, where some of the companies, they had a hard time getting off the ground because they couldn't get licensing, so they would just be a general zombie, a general witch. Just a ghost, but not Casper.
Cowboy,
right. Well, they might be a cowboy, but they're not the Lone Ranger, right? So and they might be a zombie, and they might be a creature, but they're not the Frankenstein monster, and things like that. So again, and it was also they also kind of admit, there were a couple of those costumes that were sort of like used twice, like the Ultraman monsters. Like, why did that guy look just like that guy? Well, we use the same mold and just a little slightly variance in the paint and stuff. Yeah, it's a fun, breezy documentary, and I think it's something that we all need to remind ourselves how to make 2021 boring together. Together. Boring.
Together's right.
Yeah. So again, Mr. Ben Harley from 2019, Halloween in a box.
Halloween in a box. Well, thanks, Tim. I appreciate that.
It was good. It was really good. So, all right, let's get to our official little film, Mr. Ben Harley.
Yeah, let's do that, Timo.
All right, from 1982. Now, 1982, that's kind of your year more than 81, isn't it? Because I like 81. And I love 82 also. I'm here with you. I'm with you on that. But 81, I'm making a stand.
Yeah.
Making a stand here. I'm saying 81's my year. So
it's a hell of a
right. From 1982, we have the film Xtro.
Xtro.
Yes. All right. Let me get you out movie guy and give you a short storyline synopsis here for Xtro. All right, here we go.
Yes.
An alien creature impregnates a woman who gives birth to a man that was abducted by aliens 3 years ago. The man reconnects with his wife and son for a sinister purpose.
Yeah, sure does.
Don't you reconnect with me for a sinister purpose, buddy. Listen, Buster. Okay. This there's a kid and his dad, and they're like tooling around like in the backyard or some shit or whatever. And all of a sudden the whole thing goes goes wrong. Like it's day turns to night, everything goes crazy. So what you have is what appears to be an artistic rendering of what we would call an alien abduction. Yes. I'm going to start this movie by saying this. I did notice this. Not once in the movie were aliens ever mentioned.
No.
Nothing like this was ever mentioned. So you are left to assume that he was abducted by aliens and taken to a different planet, or it could be interdimensional beings that are hanging out with Bigfoot.
Don't know.
You just don't know. You don't.
No,
so,
you don't know.
So the father goes away, like they just disappears.
He just disappears.
Right, So 3 years later, the son has not aged a day.
No.
3 years later, the mom has moved on. There's another guy like hanging out, everything. Yeah. So, and then all of a sudden, another beam of light basically comes down from the sky, I guess, and then we have a creature.
Yes. That attacks a lady.
Rapes the lady, and then gives birth to the dad.
Yes. She gives birth to that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like this monster. He rapes her. Then he just kind of disappears too, or not really disappears. He just dies, whatever. Because
it's almost like a cocoon. Like the creature does his thing. When the creature's purpose is over with, the creature just basically melts.
Yes,
and then the guy. It's not a long pregnancy. About what, 35 seconds. I guess. Yeah. Or something like that. The guy pops out as an adult man,
fully grown man. Yes.
It smelled a little bit like the Manitou.
Yeah.
So this is a full grown, regular sized man, not a little person coming.
No.
So dad gets reborn, literally.
Yes. Very weird scene.
It's a very weird scene. It's a hell of a waste of a hot blonde too, by the way.
Yes. She was cute.
Yeah, she was, yeah. So of course he comes back into out of nowhere. And it takes a little while for everyone to believe, because he comes back and starts kind of like making contact with the son again.
Yeah, and I think he just disappeared. He just ran out on them, right?
Exactly, yes.
Yeah, so.
Right, so that's the thing. So the kid told the truth, what had happened, but everyone thinks that the dad just abandoned them.
And that's what the kid was doing that because he didn't believe his dad would leave him, so that he made up the story.
Exactly. Yes. So now, he's saying my dad's coming back around. People are like, oh boy, he's having mental problems, stuff like that. Well, then the dad does come back, and then what you have is a nice soap opera kind of, which you're going to have push and pull between the new guy who's taken up residence, taking the place of the dad. And then you also have, and I'd like to, I didn't know this happened, but apparently when the man leaves the home, when he abandons the family hires a gorgeous young woman to help raise the son.
Yeah.
And the body of Miriam Dabo in her first movie. Woo! Yeah. She came out of nowhere too. You're like, oh, well, my thought was, hey, if you leave again, maybe they'll hire another one.
Yeah.
4 or 5 more times, you got a party, man.
Yeah. Keep upgrading.
Yeah. Right. So anyway, but
she was a pip in this.
Right. So basically you have, a dad gets abducted, taken away, comes back a few years later and ruins the moving on period, because they need to move on. So he screws all that up. Well, he's not right, of course. He was born out of a hot blonde, right? So he's not right.
Fully grown.
Yeah, so he starts possessing the son, clearly wanting to take the son with him back into space or whatever.
Yes.
And that's the movie, is he's trying to possess the son slowly but surely, and I guess the mother is trying to figure out what's going on and trying to stop things and stuff. So, and of course, there's no love lost between the new boyfriend guy.
Oh, no, and the father. And what's funny is because I kind of, even though I didn't like the stepfather type guy, I did feel for him a little bit, because, like, here he comes, the father comes back out of nowhere. You know what I mean? And
he's played off like a dick, and he's the only guy acting like a normal human would act like.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So you're like, you're not liking him because he's being a dick, but then you're thinking, well, I can't really argue with the way he's acting.
Well, they kind of set him up as a little bit of a jerk or dick because with the kid, because he's like, because he's the one saying, "Oh, well, that's why he came up with the story of the abduction because
like a mean stepdad type deal."
Yeah, but yet I just think because he's like the kid don't like me, which it was so funny to him. Like you said, the kid hasn't aged in 3 years is kind of funny too.
Right. Well, the one thing we didn't forget, but we haven't really explored yet is when the thing comes back, when the creature that impregnates the woman that gives birth, if that makes any sense to anyone, to the father returning. First of all, the creature is probably one of the best rubber monsters in cinema history.
It's a pretty good one.
I mean, to me, that's hands down the way it's designed, the way the actor performs in it. Apparently, those were the people who played the different odd things in this movie were a team of performers from, I guess, Britain that were named TikTok.
Because I tell you, Tim, I've seen somewhere I've either seen this movie or something. It might have either played on Comet or something.
It's a pretty big movie when it came out.
There's a lot of stuff of this movie that I remember, and then a lot I don't know at all.
Right.
But there's certain things like with like the little person or the midget guy,
Right. Just like a clown. So they have we have these weird dreamlike
really weird
moments in this movie where it's mostly like when the dad. Okay, let me backtrack. So we got the greatest monster of all time to me. I mean, he is one of the greatest designed rubber suited monsters I've ever seen. It is disconcerting to see. Apparently, a couple of shots in this movie are still popping up on YouTube as hoaxes of real aliens, and people are believing them. From this movie from 1982. Yeah. It's designed so well, and it's shot so well that it's hard to see, and it's effective as hell. I'm sorry, but for 1982, I mean, think about
super effective.
Think about The Being. The movie The Being. And then look at this thing. Okay, there you go. That's what I'm talking about.
Don't you mess with my Being.
Right. Well, from 1982, technically, here's an interesting thing. This movie was released January 7th, 83. At least in the States it was here. So it was released in 83. But the movie was I think half of the money was put up by Bob Shaye from New Line Cinema. So this was before Nightmare on Elm Street and everything.
Okay.
So all the weird stuff with the little person or midget, whatever's not offensive these days, dressed up like a clown. The panther. There's a panther out of nowhere going around, and then there's this.
My favorite thing. There's like he's like
Action
a G.I.
Man
Joe character, but then he blows him. He's blown up to a regular sized human, and man, that was really weird looking. I remember that big time too. Yeah, I like that part.
So what it is when the dad comes back finally, I really. Here's the thing. I get bummed out. I'll keep him like the monster because I get bummed out when the monster melts and then the dad is just there. Because then what you have is kind of a sci-fi flavored drama.
Yes.
A family drama kind of going on. And then you have these awfully uncomfortable moments where the dad kind of gets aliened out and he starts sucking on the skin. It looks like he's sucking, but he's actually kind of possessing physically the son. And that's a really uncomfortable moment.
Yes.
But as this happens, the son starts getting these hallucinations or powers that are manifesting themselves as hallucinations to him. So he
can control things with his mind.
Yes. So he has a toy panther and a toy little clown on his dresser, and he starts having these science fiction fantasies and stuff, and he brings to life these little bitty figures on his dresser, which is a panther, which is a little person, like the clown, which is the action figure guy. Yeah, Action Man, they call him. So basically what they did is they hired these two performers, Tick. And what they used to do is they used to do the breakdancing robot thing. So they were like the Blue Man Group in England. They were performers, and they would perform the robot dance, basically.
Sure.
So these guys are sort of mimes, physical performers. So they got these guys to perform, not of course not the panther, it's real, but the Action Man and the monster and stuff like that. But it gets real disappointing to me when the monster dissolves, and then they start getting the kid demoned out or aliened out. That's kind of cool. And then the kid starts sending other things, other mementos or other pieces from his toys to attack people and to do things. That gets weird. The reason it's there is because Bob Shaye said, Oh, we need a panther. Let's put a panther in the movie. I'm serious. Like, well, let's put a panther in the movie and some clowns. We need a clown in there. And so the writer,
what
Harry Bromley Davenport,
Yeah.
the guys that are making this movie, like, okay. Well, he's paying for it. This is what he wants. So they were forced into So they were basically forced into writing the things that the kid used with his mind. So the Action Man, the Panther, and all this stuff was because Bob Shea wanted this movie off the hook. So the movie is very weird.
Yes.
But it's not the filmmaker's fault. They didn't want it to be that weird, but it ended up. And the funny thing is does it work? I mean, it kind of works for it a little bit. It at least makes you go, what the hell? Wait, what the hell's going on? And stuff. So it kind of like puts you off balance. And it kind of works. And it's kind of cool. But I'm going to go back to this. And this is my problem with this movie. It's got a couple of great, great monsters, especially the first monster.
Yeah.
And there's a monster toward the end of it when the dad finally goes all alien and stuff. And that's okay. It's pretty good. A little stiff, pretty good. But that monster in the beginning, I would give anything to have had this movie be that monster run throughout the movie and terrorize people.
Yeah. Yeah, that would have been pretty good. I'd go with that too.
So and I'm gonna try not to belabor that, but I already have. So, that's you. So instead of the monster being the monster, he impregnates a woman. The woman gives birth, of course, dies, but gives birth to the dad. The dad comes back and starts possessing the son after he worms his way in there. The son starts getting a little aliened out, little demon-y aliened out. Yeah. He starts causing his toys to come to life as huge things, like a big G.I. Joe guy, life size and everything. Then you have the drama between the three adults. Which all kind of boils over to the end, where the dad is just going almost straight out alien. He's probably figured he's got enough alien genes and juices in the kid now, where he can take the kid. The kid's he's been germinated. He's ready to go. And in the meantime, he cocoons up Miriam Diabo, the younger girl, and he has her making eggs for him and stuff. So you're making eggs, alien, a la Alien. You're possessing the sun. And here's the odd thing about this movie. You don't really, throughout the movie, the characters are so unlikable. It's almost as if you want the kid to go with his dad.
Yes, yeah.
Did you feel that? It's almost like, man, alien him out. Take him away from this situation in a way.
Get him out of here.
I mean, a little bit. Didn't you kind of feel that?
Oh, yeah.
And it's almost the odd thing about the movie that kind of makes you curious whether or not you actually liked it or not, or whether you like pieces of it.
Right. I'll give you that, buddy.
Yeah. So again, it's a great monster. It needs more monster. But more consistency, too, with the monster, because it throws you in so many different directions. I think it needs to explain the monster. It does a good job explaining the dynamics between the relationships of the characters, but doesn't do a good job explaining what the hell's going on with the alien stuff.
No.
Does that make sense?
No. Because it's never really touched upon, man. Like the aliens, it's just kind of, and it's funny because it just happens at the beginning. Just happens, you know, and it doesn't really ever explain much about the aliens.
Right. Which I can handle it just happening in the beginning. The dad obviously was possessed or taken away by something.
Yeah.
I can handle him coming back. The way he came back was very interesting, if nothing else. The monster's great. He impregnates a lady. Ouch. And then she gives birth to a normal-sized man. Well, strap it on. Here we go. Strap on the seatbelt. We're in for a ride here. And then that's where it slows down a little bit. And then gets into uncomfortable mode.
Yes.
Because when it's very uncomfortable when he's sucking on the kid's neck and stuff, you're like, oh man, I don't like any of that, and it's kind of gross.
No, it's
with bladder effects and stuff. And it's and it does the job. It's supposed to be uncomfortable. Yes. It does. I get it. That's fine. It needs a little more fleshing out of what's going on with the dad. Give me a little more, a little bit more, and give me a little bit.
Yeah.
What happened to that first monster too?
It just dissipated or whatever.
I know that, but I wanted to come back. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The dog was eating the thing. I was like, at first, when she woke up, I was like, what's that dog chewing on? And I'm like, oh, that's what's left of the monster. I'm like, what the hell?
But when he comes, but at the end, okay, so he's having a transformation through the movie. It's almost as if he can be the dad in the dad's skin. And it's not like he's not him. He remembers things about the family. He remembers things only the dad would know, but yet he's still not really the dad. So clearly, whatever the monster was had a piece of that dad in him still. So, and what the dad tries to explain is that they took me and they had to change me in order for me to live where they live. So he's saying they had to alter who I am in order for me to survive where they took me. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. So I guess I kind of get that. So basically he can only live in this skin for so long before he has to basically he's basically a space vampire.
Yes, yeah. That's a good word for it.
Yeah, so he's kind of a space vampire. So he has to keep regenerating, and before else his skin just falls apart, and he's total monster. So by the end of it, he don't care anymore because he's gonna take the kid, and he's starting to go total monster. But then when he turns into that monster is a completely different monster than the first one.
Completely different. It's way different.
Yeah, so my point is, why didn't he turn back into the original monster? I guess the original monster is like the caterpillar, and then he's evolving into the butterfly, which ends up the monster at the end, I suppose.
Yeah.
I think this is what happens when you have a good script in a movie and you take it to Bob Shea, and Bob Shea says, yeah, but we need a panther in it. and we need a clown. And things,
wait,
and he's got half the money you need.
Yeah.
I guess that's what happens.
You're like, I think I do need a clown.
Right. And not only that, let's be honest, you have a British thing going on here, and it's an American giving you half the money.
Right.
Going to be some kind of weird push and pull there, just by definition.
Exactly. Oh, yeah. Right. Exactly. So, Tim, I don't know. There's a lot going on in this film, but like, I did like certain parts, like as far as like the one neighbor lady who's kind of a jerk. Her and the kid kind of have like, he doesn't like her or whatever. And then he has a snake, and the snake gets away, and it falls down goes down to her apartment, gets in her salad, and she just beats it to a bloody pulp with a meat tenderizer, and then brings it back to his mom in a bag. And it's just a pulp, you know?
Yeah.
And so then that's when he sends the Action Man down there. But I thought that was actually one of my favorite parts of the movie was the Action Man, because he does move good, like robotically, and it looks weird, and I think for that time period too, it was very effective, very effective. And he basically goes in and hunts down the old lady, and I some of that stuff I actually liked more than the monsters, but
that's the thing. It's like almost it's trying to be two different things.
Yes.
Or three different things, really. It's trying to be like a few different things. And, the Action Man thing to me was out of place.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. It was different. But so was like the Panther and stuff, too. But then at one point, too, like, doesn't the stepdad get chased by a little tank that's shooting at him,
That was a different boyfriend, I think. It wasn't. That was Miriam Dabo's boyfriend.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. He's getting chased by that, And Tim, did a lot of the guys look alike in this? I thought they all looked alike.
A little bit,
The
boyfriend, both the boyfriends both had kind of a noodly kind of look to him, and they were like, I don't know. And then, yes, there was a little bit of confusion because Miriam Dabo, who is like a live-in nanny, I guess, in a way, or something to help out. And yes, she's young, she's beautiful. This was her first movie. And she has a boyfriend who, I can see you getting confused because he doesn't really serve a purpose except to have another person to be menaced. In the film.
Exactly.
So you could totally get him confused and then get everyone confused.
He looks just like the stepdad. Like,
he's got a similar thing. And really the dad has kind of a similar kind of look to him, I guess, too. So it's a little disjointed. It's disjointed a little bit, and stuff. And
thank you. That's a good word.
Yeah, and so for me, it's like, the Action Man stuff to me and all that, I was like, wait, what the hell is going on? Because I never really... It took me a while to grab my head around, wait, the kid has powers now. And the dad's telling the kid he has powers.
Yeah.
As a viewer, I'm not buying it. I'm just like watching it going, how the hell is this happening? Oh, that's right. The kid has powers now.
Right.
And the kid's mad because his snake, Harry,
got pummeled.
Snake called Harry. So his snake, Harry, gets loose and goes down to the apartment below, and the woman beats it because she's scared of snakes. And he gets mad, so he sends one of his toys to kill. Mm-hmm. And I think the Panther is after Miriam Dabo's boyfriend at one point. And then he sends like a tank is after him, but is it him sending this stuff all the time or just some of the time?
Yeah.
So it gets a little weird. But and you know what the thing is too is that I watched a couple of documentaries on this movie because it's odd. No matter if you like it or not like it, it's a bizarre, strange movie. And when I was a kid, this was one that I would stare at the pictures, and as you can imagine, I would stare at the stills of this like in Fangoria and stuff. I couldn't see it. It didn't really play anywhere near me. And even if it did, it was so rated R. There was no way I was going to see it. I was 10 years old, so no one was letting me go see this. So the stills showed the monsters.
Yes.
The stills showed the gory effects with the sucking in the neck. The stills showed the cocoon to Miriam Dabo with the eggs coming out of the bottom husk or whatever. Yeah. And then you watch it with the plot thrown into those cool moments. And it didn't help it. It made it strange. And maybe it was trying to put too much of an adult story into too much of a exploitation monster movie. Sure. And it really is like two things hitting together so hard. And it feels like a puzzle that was put together, but the pieces were forced together.
Yes.
They fit, but they're being forced together where it's a little rough around the edges of the pieces.
Yeah. It's just, definitely, Tim. That's a really good way of putting it because it was just, I don't know. I liked a lot of it, but it just seemed some of it did. It seemed like two different movies at times, and then I did like the stuff with the kid, though. I really did.
That's interesting. I didn't.
But some of it was just really bizarre, too. Mm-hmm. And that the little guy clown, to me was the creepiest thing in the whole movie. Uh-huh. That guy was a creep. It was just one of those things like, man, that guy's creepy, Right. But, Tim, I totally believe, I agree with you completely on, it's just, it's a little disjointed. Not that it was bad, but it just seemed like there was a lot going on and not a lot going on as far as like explanations about the aliens. Yeah.
Yeah. I've talked about this before. Sometimes I feel like filmmakers want to make a horror movie, but they want to make it so it's not a horror movie.
Right.
And I always get a kick out of that. It's always like, well, we wanted to make a horror movie, but we didn't want to put all the gore into it. Yeah. Well, that's kind of me saying, well, I wanted to make a slapstick comedy, but I put two people at a table and then I didn't write any jokes in it. Just make a horror movie, man. If you want to make a movie about a father that leaves a mother and a child and comes back only to find out that the mother's moved on, then you're just going to have to make that movie and accept the fact that nobody's going to want to see it.
Right.
Don't trick me. Don't trick us horror people.
Yeah.
Into coming and watching your stupid story about your family problems and stuff. We came for the monsters. Yes. I might have come for the rapey scene too, but we came for the monsters, all right? And stuff. Yeah. And so I like having the odd situation. But they spend way too much time coddling that and explaining that and talking about that and not enough time. It's almost like I could probably sit down with my gear, my studio gear. I could, without having anything besides this finished film, as it is, I could edit out all of the monster parts and you wouldn't know they were gone.
Right.
You'd probably have like a 45-minute movie or an hour-long movie or so. But I could edit it out. And you'd see a troubled boy whose snake went somewhere and his father came back and the boyfriend doesn't like it. And then the father takes the child away and kidnaps him, basically.
Sure.
And it's kind of what you would have, and stuff. So, and I think you had to see the movie to understand how how much they're pushing both of these things and trying to almost make you forget about the other part of it while they're showing you the one part in a way.
Yeah.
You know, and it hurts it because I like this movie. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I really do.
Okay.
Compared to especially some of the stuff that like the Puppet Master and stuff we've been watching. No, this one didn't disappoint me. This one's right about where I thought it was. Because I always remember thinking, I want more monster, but the monster's great. It isn't cheating.
Yeah. No, not at all.
It's not cheating whatsoever. It's just it's almost trying too hard to be like the sleight of hand, and you're like watching it, going, "Dude, you're not fooling me."
No,
just
no.
Stop acting like you're fooling me through this. Just give it to me.
Yeah,
you know, in a way. And so, and then what ending did you see? Because there's like 4 different endings to this movie. There's like
the one so she's following her husband and the child, and then they end up leaving on the ship.
Yeah, so he goes monsters out. So he finally. So they're running away, and then he takes care of the boyfriend with his scream, which
Yes,
and then he gets on the the ship with the son. So he takes the son, and the mother's left there. Okay, then after
and then
that,
she goes back to the apartment.
Okay,
and the eggs are in that in the refrigerator or whatever, and then she picks them up, and then it attaches to her face. Like she picks up one of the eggs and it explodes.
Right, so it left eggs behind, and then so the big shocker ending is she sees eggs, and the eggs get her now. So we've the whole family's been decimated basically. So the other ending that they actually shot was she goes back home and she's kind of in this like lucid state in a way. And when she goes into her apartment, she doesn't find eggs. She finds a bunch of clones of her son. And they come up to her and start feeling her belly because all of a sudden you can see she's pregnant. So she's like cloning the son herself. But I don't know. It kind of doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense because how much time has passed between the two, you know, whatever. So the one, I don't like the end very much. And I don't like really either ending, but the ending that you watched, okay, that's fine. Again, I like how the movie starts way more than where it ends.
To where it ends up,
I do. As the movie goes on, it's like I think it's losing opportunities to be more of a monster movie and less of some kind of metaphor for something else.
Yeah,
and I get tired.
Yeah, I get you there. It is what it is. And it's not that I don't like the movie. I think it's okay. There's bits and pieces of it that I really like. And then there's stuff that I'm like, man, I know this movie. I know that little creepy clown. I know the action man. I know, it's like there's certain things in that movie.
You might have reviewed it before.
Yeah. But I'm like, I don't know. It's like this movie feels familiar to me, but I don't really know it. You know what I mean? So that was kind of weird.
Right.
But, I don't know, Tim. I might have been smoking too much on that one. I don't know.
Right. So, well, it's a strange film that is not denied, even by the filmmakers. They didn't intend it. Yeah. They didn't intend for the strangeness. So if you take probably all of the kids sending creatures and things forth and the Action Man and stuff, if you take that out, I think that was more of the film that they wanted to make. But see, you liked it though. You liked the parts that they thought. It just to me just made it more weird. You can feel like it was kind of stuck in there as a gag, in a way. So, but hey, the thing is this: is I still don't hate this movie. The movie's good enough, and the monsters are good enough, and the drama's there. Yeah. That I still don't dislike it. It's so hard for me. I'm going to give. Look, here's the thing. I'm going to give this movie a mild grape ape up. And what's saving it for me is the monster stuff. To me, it's so strong. It's only in a few scenes, but it is so strong when the thing spits its tongue out and shoots the guy like right under the eyeballs and stuff. Like that stuff to me is so great. It reminds me of The Beast Within a little bit. The cicada monster thing, where I mean, so it has this monster feel to it. It's just going too far into metaphysical and metaphor land and stuff at parts. So I would like it much more and even love this movie if they kept it more of a straight monster movie. But they don't. Sure. They try to make it too much into a thinking man's thing when it doesn't need to be. No. And I know it's not their fault. I know it's the fact that actually someone who wasn't trying to make it into a thinking man's movie tried to push shit in there that didn't belong. And therefore, it became a strange film that looks artsy a little bit where it didn't need to be.
Right, sure.
My opinion. But I'm going to give it a mild grape ape up because the monster stuff is strong. They don't cheat. It makes sense.
Yeah.
It just, some of the stuff just is not necessary, doesn't fit, and that makes it drag for me a little bit.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, I'm going to do the same thing, Tim. Mild grape ape up. I couldn't really poop on it because there are some things I liked about it. A lot of it didn't work for me, and then some did work for me, which I was surprised. I'm surprised I like this other stuff better than this, you know?
I'm surprised too. But yeah, it's interesting though. It's interesting.
That's okay. I mean, it was fun for me. I mean, some of it's just so bizarre. I'm like, what am I looking at? You know, like, sir, what am I looking at right now? And
right.
For me, when you can get me to go, huh? You did a little bit of something at least.
All right.
You know, and I kept going, huh? What?
Right.
You know, and for me, Tim, a lot of these things, I can't take it as serious. I can't, you know. It's like, you know, I'm a guy who loves Guar. I can't take that stuff serious. It's just, you know what I mean? So some of these things in these movies, for me, it makes me kind of chuckle or go, huh? Like I said, huh? What the hell?
Right.
You know, or like, what am I watching? Or like you and I are just about, what did I just see? You know,
Right.
You know? And that's okay. And that's what was one of these movies. And I kind of went with it like you taught me about the Italian movies. Just go with it.
Right.
So that's kind of what I did there for a while, you know. But yeah, mild grape ape up for me, Timo.
Okay. All right. Well, 2 mild grape apes up kind of for different reasons, which is interesting.
Yeah.
That's interesting.
That is.
We're basically mild grape aping up the opposite parts of the film. But so you know what? The thing is, we're both kind of complaining about the other parts that the other one of us liked.
Yeah.
Maybe Bob Shea had something. Maybe he did something that, and you know, the filmmakers in the documentaries kind of agree
40
too.
years from now,
yeah.
There's gonna be 2 guys. They're gonna talk about this.
Right. Well, even the filmmakers themselves kind of said that. They said, you know, it doesn't make much sense, but it seems to hold up. I mean, people seem to like the weird part. So what do we know? Maybe we, you know,
what do we know?
So, yeah, right.
It's weird, all right. There is some weird stuff in this movie.
Well, I freaked out Angio and said, you know, I have Xtro too. And she looked at me like, what? I said, yes, I do. 2? There's a part 3 as well. And they were all all made by the same director. Old Harry Davenport.
Wow. That's funny.
Yep. So, all right. Well, let's get out of here,
I might have
Mr.
to wait
Bennett.
a little bit for Xtro 2. I might need a week or 2 before we do that.
Yeah, I don't think I sent it to you to do anything with. But they're there. They're definitely there. So, well, you know, there were what happened. You know, just real quick, there were other producers. The movie did well. And what was funny was that, you know, like, I don't think anyone expected it to do well because it was weird and odd and stuff. I mean, hey, it started doing well. And I think we're describing why it did well. It was good enough for people to be attracted to what you were attracted to and what I was attracted to where people went and saw it and enjoyed it enough to where, okay, there you go. Well, it was successful. And so, of course, you get producers. And somehow the director, Harry Bromley Davenport, ended up owning the name. Not anything else, not the story or nothing, but just the name Xtro. Somehow he ended up owning that. So different producers got a hold of him basically twice and said, do you want to make an Xtro movie? And he said, sure. I mean, yeah, you're going to pay me to make an Xtro movie? Yeah, let's. So the director actually did 2 and 3 as far as I know. With different producers and stuff like that. So, yeah, so there is at least 2 other Xtro films. Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, there you go. Hey.
There you go. Right.
God bless them.
Yeah. Different story, different monsters, but just use the same title. You get someone like me to sucker his way on in. Yeah. There you go.
That's right.
All right. So it's 2 mild grape apes up for Xtro, which is better than the last couple of weeks. So we're on the right trajectory. How about that?
Yes.
We're moving in the right
onward and upward.
Yeah, we're moving in the right direction. So
that's right.
All right. Well, till next week, Mr. Ben Harley, and all you deep thinkers out there, be good to each other. Stay safe. We'll be back here next week. So stay spooky, and we'll talk to you then.
Keep it creepy, people.
You've been listening to the Timo and Harley Show, brought to you by ScreenPrintingFactory.com, your affordable one-stop solution to all your screen printing needs.